Bam. Welcome to Advocates for Justice Paralegal School. Coach Neighbors Legal Service. Call it whatever you want. We about to get down today. Welcome to the stream tonight. Advocates for Justice Paralegal School. I provide the tools. You guys do the work. You know how that goes. We got a lot to talk about tonight, so we're going to get rolling. So tonight we're going to discuss legal options when the magistrate judge dismisses your lawsuit. And I'm saying the federal judge because we already know what to do with the state judge. They're over there getting their butt jammed up. And we're going to touch on the judge's immunity. As a matter of fact, I get a little worked up when I hear people call me all maxed out telling me that the court told them the state court judge had total immunity. It's such bull crap, and people believe that crap. So we're going to go over that crap today. We up in the crap already. We just got started. Okay, you guys hang on to your crap. I mean shorts. Hell yeah. So we're talking about jamming up the judge today. So what better place to talk about that and to one of my favorite delivery vehicles. This is one of my favorite document delivery vehicles. And if you're lucky, maybe something might get dropped. Delivered. Yeah, I'm going to say the wrong thing and people over there are going to be getting mad at me. So let's just move on. Moving on. Hey, if you guys come here from Facebook, please follow that link that I should have going across the bottom of the screen that I don't see yet. And let's see, we'll find that link. And give StreamYard permission to use your username, your Facebook username. Okay, here we go. You got to find the banners. There you go. Might look like this is my first day. That's the way it looks all the time, but we getting some shit done. So if you're coming here from Facebook, please follow this link and give StreamYard permission to use your Facebook username. Otherwise, you show up as Facebook user, and we'd like to know who we're talking to, just in case we have to go get you. Okay, let's move forward. I'm going to just leave that there for a minute. Now we're going to move it because I forget. So we're going to touch on judge's immunity, and actually I got worked up thinking about that, so we're actually going to do that first. But I want to start out to address the lies that them fools are telling and the slow people are believing. And so we're going to start out with the judge's immunity. The state judge has no immunity. Now, I'm going to go through this immunity thing real quick because I don't think we need to spend too much time on it, and because it's crazy to think that they can violate you and there's nothing you can do about it. So, and I think it's pretty stupid of them to think that people would believe that, but not all of us believe that. So the judge does not have immunity. And one of the reasons, and we'll just go to a couple that the judge doesn't have immunity, is number one, the judge does not, the judge has a conflict of interest. The state court judge has a conflict of interest to rule in your foreclosure case because the state has stolen your property deed and committed real estate deed fraud. The state has your property deed. The state is actually the one that's foreclosing on you, and the state is the one that is paying all of the people that are beating you down to take your stuff. So the judge is paid by the state. I'm sure the judge gets a pension and gets some other stuff, and they don't want me to talk about everything. They get some other stuff. So how can the judge rule on the foreclosure when the judge is getting paid by the corporation that's actually the one doing the foreclosure? There you go. I said it. That's it in a nutshell. Now, in order for a judge to have immunity, qualified immunity, And there's a difference. Qualified immunity is what you have to do to qualify for it. That's what it was called a long time ago until they change it to whatever they want because a lot of people don't know nothing. So, qualified immunity, in order for a judge to have qualified immunity, the judge would have to qualify for that immunity. And to qualify for the immunity, that happens when the judge follows the law and the rules. And so, right out the gate, we got a problem because you're not in a judicial court. You have to be in a judicial court for the judge to have qualified immunity, and the judge has to grant you your constitutional rights, and the judge has to follow the law, and the judge has to follow the freaking federal rules of civil procedure, and there's a whole bunch of stinging lands up in here, and the judge is supposed to make everybody else, and I'm talking about the attorneys and us, follow the same rules. Everybody's supposed to be following the same rules. So I don't know about you guys, but I didn't see none of that shit going on in any of the court hearings that I've been in. So, and I've been in a lot of them. So the judge don't have qualified. The judge don't have any immunity, and the judge is violating you from the gate. Now, here's the thing, and there's always a thing. I like talking about the thing. The thing is, the Tucker's Act strips the state court actors of their fake ass immunity. That's what I'm going to call it. It strips them of their fake ass immunity due to federal funding. Think about that for a minute. So the federal government will not give the states money if the state's violating the rights of the people. Huh. Oh, well, wait a minute. They do that shit all day long. Oh, it's time for somebody to do something about it, ain't it? Uh-huh. Now, this is huge. This is huge. And this is in my documents. The Tucker's Act is in the documents. And apparently folks don't understand it or don't read it or something because, man, as soon as the judge tells you some stupid shit, oh, I need them. No, dude, you don't have any immunity due to the Tucker's Act, which is a federal law that was enacted. And that federal law mandates that as long as your asses, and when I say your asses, I'm talking about the state, as long as your asses are accepting federal funding, there's no immunity. You have to stop violating the citizens' rights. But they get away with it all day long because nobody's crazy enough to learn how to know this stuff. Well, not very many people are crazy enough to know it. Okay. So some of you know it now. And I could spend the whole night on this subject, but I think it would be a waste of time because if anybody believes that the judge has total immunity, why would they even have a hearing? They just have the judge give your shit away from his or her house so they wouldn't have to drive in through the court. Okay. My brain runs a little fast sometime when we're talking about jamming up the judge because that's what you're going to be doing anyway. At the end of all of this road, that's what you're going to be doing because their program is structured so when the arguing's over, the judge gets to help them. Or if there's no arguing, the judge still gets to help them. Or if you're in federal court to avoid all of that, then the federal court judge gets to help them. And you know what? That's all right because we're about to jam their ass up too. So we're going to talk about that next. Now, I filed a motion to block the federal court from giving the state of Kansas funding. I filed a motion to block Kansas from accepting federal funding. And I did that because they kept ignoring me and acting stupid. Yeah, I was in federal court over two $10 seatbelt tickets. That was a long time ago when I was learning. And yeah, how'd that go? I know that's what you're thinking. That's what you're always thinking. Well, not all of y'all think that, but the ones that aren't really don't have both their feet on the right side of the fence think that. Because I wouldn't even bring the story up if I didn't kick their. Okay, sorry. But you know what I'm saying. So what happened with it? Well, they called me one day with all of the players in the federal court judge's office, and they wanted to talk about that. And so we did. And that's all I can say about it. But here's the thing. That is a badass option. And I thought about that today when my brain was getting heated up over this. Somebody calling me up all maxed out last week because the federal judge said the state court had total immunity. Oh, you freaking got to be kidding me right now. And that person's still studying. So at least I hope they are. And I hope they're watching tonight. And I'm not going to name any names because, you know, I don't want to put nobody on the spot any more than I already did. Okay, I'm a coach, so that's what you get here. You know, I try to be fair. And if I screw up, I have no problem apologizing. You can ask Ashmeen, she'll tell you. Got no trouble apologizing. Okay, but yeah, well, don't expect that very much. So, because I never screw up. Okay, never mind. I think I should move on right now because I'm kicking my own butt with my own foot. Okay. Now, first thing, anytime a judge puts any order out, I don't even give a crap what it's. I'm already ready objecting. Okay, I'm already objecting, and I already told you some of the stuff that you can object to in state court. In the federal court, we'll get to that, but I'm already objecting. I'm objecting because clearly the judge is giving them opportunity to kick my ass, to pass me up, to get me in the corner. So I'm objecting. And I've had the judge ask me one time why I was objecting. I was new at this time, and I told him I wasn't exactly sure. But when I get home and I get to researching with the fraud they're doing to me, I'm sure I'll come up with something. Yeah, he slammed the hammer down on the table a couple of times and got mad. So first thing you want to do is you want to object. You want to object anytime the judge is ruling something. The judge will put out an order and say all this stupid shit and give it to you. Then people go sit down scared. Well, you got the same amount of time to object to that shit as you do to object to anything that the attorneys, their judges, friend attorneys file. Okay, I think you guys get the point with that. You got the same amount of time to object to the judge's bullshit. And so you should object. And then after you object, I would wait a day or two or so. I wouldn't do this all at the same time because you want to get these punches in one at a time and make it nice and slow. After I file for reconsideration, then I come in and recuse the judge. Object, file for reconsideration. And the reason you're filing for reconsideration is to open up the case for another ruling. Because remember, the judge ruled once. So you need to get that shit open back up. So the case can't move forward without another judge ruling. So in a lot of people's cases, what happens is the new judge is dragging their feet, or in Brandon's case, they had to ship in a judge from somewhere else who's trying to get in the door. So these tactics work really well, and they work well because what they're doing is illegal, and you're working in the loopholes of their crap. That's what you learn up in here. So the magistrate judge must have consent from all parties to be involved in your case. Now, who wants a lesser judge ruling in your shit? If you're in my program, you don't want any judge. You don't want any judge ruling in your case. So the magistrate judge must have consent from all parties. And I was talking to my wife about this one time, and she's a badass doing this too. But she likes to keep a low profile. I was talking to my wife one day, and she said, "Oh no, the magistrate judge can do whatever." And I'm like, "No, the magistrate, no, yeah." She said, "No." So I said, "Okay, that's fine." So in my head, I know I read that somewhere. So I just Googled magistrate judge consent form. Yep, that's what you guys need to do a lot before you contact me. Google it. I Googled magistrate judge consent form, and the second thing that pulled up down the list was the form that the magistrate judge is supposed to send me to sign to give him or her permission to be involved in my case. So I printed it off and showed it to my wife, and she looked at it and she said, "Oh, you're right." And I said, could you say that a few more times? She's like, what? Sound right? You know, say it again. Okay, yeah. But there you go. You can Google magistrate judge consent form in your or magistrate judge consent form for your state, and more likely than not, pull up the magistrate judge consent form. And the reason that this is important is because it has right on there the statute that the magistrate judge is violating if the magistrate judge gets involved in your case. When the magistrate judge acts in your civil case without legal consent or jurisdiction, he or she is in violation of 28 USC section 636. 28 USC section 636 and Federal Civil Rules of Procedure, Rule 73. So you can take the statute, the law, right off of that page to put into your motion to in your recusal document, recusing the judge of violating his own shit. So there you go. Now the statute defines jurisdiction as power and temporary assignment for the magistrate judge. So the magistrate judge can't be involved in your case unless you give them consent. Now, when you jam them up, and you have to do that to force them to respect you. If you don't slap them in the face or step on their neck or whatever when they're jamming you up, they're not going to respect you, and they're just going to mow your ass down and keep on going. And pretty soon, they're going to throw your shit out the door. So when a judge acts like this without that consent form, every one of the judges is willful prejudice and illegal acts and omissions favor the defendant to the detriment of the plaintiff and have without a doubt called the judge's impartiality into question. And the judge would be in violation of 28 USC section 455, which expressly forbids a judge to continue under these circumstances. You'd be surprised how much power we really do have. You just need to learn how to use it. And that's what we about to do up in here. So the judge's impartiality should be challenged due to his or her acting without consent or jurisdiction. Now, I'm talking about the federal magistrate judge here. The Supreme Court has ruled and affirmed and reaffirmed that principles that justice must satisfy the appearance of justice. And that's something that I would stick right in any judge's face that tries to convince me that the state judge can do whatever the hell they want, just take my shit and give it away and put my family out on the street. So, yeah, and nothing illegal about it. Further, the judge has a legal duty to disqualify him or herself if there's no motion asking for his or her disqualification, particularly on being recused on the grounds of impartiality when you can prove that just by looking at the documents and the fact that the judge didn't allow the attorneys to do anything. So one of the things that I think that you guys should do, and don't call me and ask me for this, okay, because you need to make your own. One of the things that I think that you should do is the same thing that I did. If these people are ignoring you and trying to move forward anyway, I would make myself a restraining order and request the federal court block the state court from receiving federal funding as per the Tucker's Act. Now, I've given you enough there that you should be able to get on Google and figure out what you need to figure out to make sure that you understand what you're about to do. But that's what I would do. And that's going to force the hand of some people. And I've used that before. I bet you will get some attention real quick when you stick that right on the table up in their face. Oh, you guys don't miss the webinar tomorrow at 8 o'clock on how to smash the foreclosure eviction process. Actually, we're going to talk about how to smash the state court process, because really that's what we're smashing. It doesn't matter if it's eviction or foreclosure or tax or whatever, it doesn't matter. We're going to show you how to smash that tomorrow in the webinar. And I put a link in here that people can use. Now, this link is to the 42 U.S.C. 1983 Civil Rights Lawsuit package that's making a splash right now. And I'm going to send you guys, give you another link here. So if there's anybody interested in attending the webinar on how to smash the eviction process, I still have a few seats open. Okay, there we go. So that's all the value I'm bringing to the table tonight, guys. Thank you for the privilege of sharing your time. I will see you guys in the next live stream. If you guys are interested in that online that webinar we're having, you should jump on that sucker before the time passes where it's going to be shut down. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.